Hey, welcome back to Commentary by Joyce. And it's 8 o'clock on a Saturday. Um, I wanted to do a recording because I didn't feel like coming on camera, and I didn't want to get distracted by who would come in the room, if anybody would come in the room. But I've been sharing some posts uh about what's going on in America, and one of the things that kind of threw me was the fact that there are there's a post from three Harvard, no, not Harvard, Yale professors that are leaving the United States to go teach in Canada and live in Canada until the mess that is here in America is cleared. And by mess, I mean the Tangerine Tyrant. And the reason why I wanted to come do a video about this is because I'm a black woman, black veteran, and my question is to the black community of America. Those of us that don't have a passport, those of us that don't have savings to leave the country and or have dual citizenship, that you can go another place until we get Fulio out of office. And it comes down to either fight or flight, right? So those of us that can't take flight and can't leave this country, we have to stay here and fight. Now, you can forget about the Republicans coming to their senses because even though they know the things that are taking place are not right, they are more scared of the Tangerine Tyrant than they are of getting voted out of office. And some people have been saying, well, they're not afraid of being voted out of office in the midterms because um, they think that there aren't going to be any midterms. Well, we don't know that. Could that happen? It's a possibility in the time that we're in. Anything could happen, right? Um, and when I say anything could happen, I never thought that there was a possibility that someone convicted of 34 felonies could actually be elected president over this country. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is you got the maggots, you got MAGA. And those people are so delusional, and they don't care if he hurts them. I mean, you got a little sprinkle here, a little sprinkle there of people waking up, the MAGAs, but it's not enough to do anything. So, I mean, I'm not saying that we're doomed because I don't believe that. I do believe that there are enough Americans to stand up to fascism and kick it in its ass. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. That's what I believe. Is it gonna take a hell of a fight? Yes. I was watching a video and they were talking about Poland, Poland. They just went through something similar. And because of their court system, because of their uh, freedom of speech and freedom of the press, they were able to overcome the fascism that was encroaching upon them, and they turned their country around. Well, that's possible here too. But you have so many, you got so many millions of Americans that don't believe that anything is wrong right now. They just feel like, oh, the left, the Democrats, um, y'all are just mad. But you know what I can't understand is if the Republicans, if MAGA, if the Tangerine Tyrant won the presidency, it seems like they're even madder or even angrier than the left, the Democrats, the liberals. So that's really weird to me because I'm like, if y'all won the election, what is, I mean, why are y'all so angry? You have his cabinet, people like KKK Caroline. You have Christy Nome. You have Pam Bundy. You have what's that other lady name that's crazy than a road lizard? MTG. I mean, and then you got Cash Patel. I mean, everyone in his cabinet. What is that other thing's name? Marco Rubio. We're gonna talk about him separately. Pete Hegseth. I mean, you just everyone in the cabinet is so angry and they're acting like a light is being shined on them for being criminal. And it is, but they have an attitude about it. And that's what kind of tickles me because I'm like, shouldn't Americans be angry? What are y'all angry for? You know? That's what I be trying to figure out. What if y'all are winning and y'all got the person that y'all wanted in the office, why are y'all so mad? Now, hopefully, somebody can answer that question for me. Why are they so mad? Is it because that maybe he really didn't win the election, that it was rigged by way of Elon Musk? And let's talk about Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio used to be a senator. I think about 15 years or so. It could be a little bit more than that, but from what I was listening to, it's about 15 years. And his attitude is so stank and nasty. Uh, Last week or during the earlier part of this week, when he was in Congress answering questions, he was just nasty. I mean, anything that people brought up, he says, yeah, we did it and we're going to keep doing it. And we're going to keep revoking visas. And I mean, even though the things that they have been doing have been unlawful and judges have ruled that they are unlawful, one thing, the judiciary branch has been actually holding America up. It had the judiciary branch has actually slowed down the foolishness that this not it's not an administration, it's a regime. The judiciary branch has slowed all these executive orders, slow them down, even just outright said they are unconstitutional and that you can't do them. But the one thing that the judiciary branch has not done is held people in contempt, which I think needs to do. I think that needs to happen, but I think they are afraid to hold the Trump regime in contempt. And there are ways to start picking off the Trump cabinet one by one. Each cabinet member, especially Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, any one of them that has broke the law. See, no, the only person that has presidential immunity is Fat Fuck, right? But what he did the other night, going to Virginia, having that meeting with those um meme coin buyers, and his own press secretary set him up for failure when she said the president is over there visiting with them folks on his own personal time. And when she said that, they have been tearing her ass up, and she just basically put her little probably size 7 shoe up Rump's butt, because anything that he has presidential immunity over is acting as the president. But that declarative statement that she made puts him as doing things, doing that act, doing that grift, puts him in an uncompromising illegal position. Okay, so there are congressmen and women that are, of course, on the Democratic side that are say they're going to hold his feet to the fire and they're going to start um, proceedings. I mean, you have, I think his name is Sheree Tanadar, the U.S. representative from Michigan, has already laid down um, impeachment articles. Then you have Representative Al Green from Texas that has laid down his impeachment articles. And now we know, because we don't have enough in the House or the Senate, that those articles may not go anywhere. But when I tell you at least once a week, there are things are changing. Democrats are getting seats, taking seats, and soon we will have probably the House. If this bill, this big nasty bill passes, we will have the Senate. And that's all we need to get a foothold and put that said foot right up Rump's rump. The another thing I want to talk about is I was listening to a podcast, Native Land Podcast, and the the episode was with Keisha Lance Bottoms, and she's running for governor of Georgia. Um, Angela Rye, I think her name is, and it was another gentleman, and they had a very, very good conversation going, and they were talking about different sects of the black community not being involved. They were talking about the Gen Zers, Gen Xers. They said the baby boomers are dying off or they just retire and they're just done fighting. And who is who's taking over to fight the good fight? And a lot of the young people are saying, well, the old heads won't pass the baton. They're still holding on to the baton instead of passing it. And then how do we get the young people, the Gen Zers involved? How do we even get Gen Xers involved? Hell, I mean, y'all, I probably get at the most 50 views speaking as a black woman on YouTube for this channel. And, and I mean, I do thank those that do pay attention and leave likes and comments. But you know, it's kind of hard looking at it now. It's hard. Look, I was talking about this before the actual election happened, and it just it's there's not engagement. So I mean, how are we going to get the young people to want to take the baton if the older people will release it? We can't. How are we gonna speak to our younger men and women, younger black men and black women, and get them involved in politics? Or it doesn't even have to be specifically politics, but um, using their right that has been fought for, people have died for, to, how do we get them involved to even cast their vote? And that's another thing that is so freaking scary to me is that you had 90 million Americans, and I don't know what the percentage of those 90 million Americans that sat at home and did not go vote, but I'm pretty sure a good amount of them were black people, and another good amount of those people, that 90 million Americans, are now complaining even though they did not get up and go vote. So do they have a right to complain if their Medicaid gets snatched? Um, and then come to find out they've even tapped on Medicare. Food stamps, SNAP benefits have been cut. And these are things that not all black people in the black community uh take advantage of, but a good amount does. And you didn't think enough of your own situation to get up and go vote. And these are 90 million Americans that were eligible to vote. I did a video on 300 million Americans. I think it was 140 million that couldn't vote. No, there are 140 millions that voted, 90 million that didn't vote. And that 140 million that actually voted, 77 million went to Fulio and 75 million went to Kamala. And they were saying, well, black men went and voted for Trump. Yes, they did. He did get some black votes, black men votes, but a good majority of the black vote for men went to Kamala. They've been lying about who voted for her and who didn't, just saying, well, black men didn't vote for Kamala. They didn't want to be bothered. They didn't want a strong black woman to be over them, which, sometimes you just, But so I leave you with three questions. Number one, are if you're capable of flying, are you going to stay and fight or are you going to fly? Number two, how do we get even Gen Xers let alone Gen Zers, to get involved in, I don't want to say politics, but get involved with voting and supporting and being conscious of their own community and what's going on. So yeah. Hopefully y'all are having a good weekend. I did get me some beef ribs, some coleslaw and baked beans. I'm gonna cook that probably tomorrow. I don't know what all I'm gonna do, y'all. I did a little shopping, a little. So I gotta record stuff for my other channel, but I needed to get this off my chest and talk about it. So I will be posting this, and um talk to me down in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. Give me a thumbs up and talk to me down in the comments. All right. Stay blessed and stay safe.